It was a normal Tuesday morning when the world changed forever. The sun rose as usual, painting the sky in soft pinks and oranges. People around the globe woke up, had their breakfast, and started their daily routines. Little did they know that high above them, in the vast emptiness of space, something extraordinary was about to happen. At exactly 9:17 am Greenwich Mean Time, every satellite orbiting Earth suddenly went offline. TV channels turned to static, internet connections dropped, and phone calls were cut off mid-sentence. For a brief moment, the world held its breath in confusion. Then, it appeared. A massive shadow fell over the planet as a colossal spaceship materialized in Earth's orbit. It was unlike anything humans had ever seen or imagined. The ship was the size of a small country, its surface a maze of lights and strange, alien structures. It hung in the sky like a second moon, visible even in broad daylight. Panic spread like wildfire. In New York City, traffic came to a standstill as people abandoned their cars to stare at the sky. In Tokyo, crowds gathered in the streets, their faces a mix of fear and awe. In a small village in Africa, children pointed at the strange new star that had appeared in the daytime sky. World leaders scrambled to respond. The United Nations called an emergency meeting, but with global communications down, coordinating a response proved challenging. Military forces around the world were put on high alert, though many wondered what good Earth's weapons would do against a civilization capable of interstellar travel. As the hours passed, a tense silence fell over the planet. The alien ship remained motionless, making no attempt to communicate or attack. Scientists worked frantically to understand what they were dealing with, but their instruments were useless against the advanced technology of the visitors. Just as the sun was setting over the Atlantic Ocean, every electronic device on Earth suddenly came back to life. But instead of the usual programs and content, they all displayed the same message. It appeared on TV screens, computer monitors, smartphones, and even digital billboards in Times Square. The message was simple but chilling. People of Earth, your planet is now under the control of the Galactic Empire. Surrender immediately or face annihilation. You have 24 hours to comply. The message was repeated in every known human language, leaving no doubt about its authenticity or the dire situation humanity now faced. In Washington, D.C., the President of the United States sat in the Oval Office, her face pale as she contemplated the weight of the decision before her. In Beijing, the Chinese leadership debated furiously about the best course of action. In Moscow, military generals argued for an immediate show of force, while others cautioned for diplomacy. As night fell across the globe, few people slept. They huddled with their loved ones, eyes fixed on the sky where the alien ship loomed. Some prayed, some cried, and some prepared for what they believed would be their last day on Earth. But among the fear and despair, something else was brewing. In labs and universities, in military bases and hacker collectives, humans were doing what they did best: adapting, planning, and refusing to give up. A young programmer in Silicon Valley began working on a way to hack the alien communication systems. A retired NASA engineer dusted off old plans for experimental weapons designed to work in space. A group of international diplomats secretly met to draft a response to the alien ultimatum. As the deadline approached, humanity faced its greatest test. Would they surrender and become subjects of an alien empire, or would they stand and fight against impossible odds for their freedom and their planet? The next 24 hours would determine the fate of Earth and the future of the human race. And unknown to the Galactic Empire, they had just awakened a spirit of resistance and innovation that would soon shake the very foundations of their power. The stage was set for a conflict that would be remembered for generations to come, a battle not just for Earth, but for the very essence of what it meant to be human. As the 24-hour deadline neared its end, the world waited with bated breath. Then, just minutes before the ultimatum expired, something unexpected happened. Small, sleek ships detached from the massive alien mothership and began descending towards Earth. These weren't attack ships, as many had feared. Instead, They were scout vessels carrying teams of alien researchers. The Galactic Empire, in its arrogance, had decided to study the humans before crushing them. They believed Earth would surrender, and they wanted to understand the primitive species they were about to conquer. The scout ships landed in various locations around the globe: New York, Beijing, Moscow, Rio de Janeiro, and Cairo. As they touched down, crowds of humans gathered, held back by nervous military cordons. The ships opened, and out stepped the aliens. They were tall, slender beings with silvery skin and large, dark eyes. They moved with a fluid grace that seemed almost unnatural. Each alien carried a device that looked like a thin, transparent tablet. These were their assessment tools, capable of scanning and analyzing everything around them. In New York's Central Park, an alien researcher named HFY-427 began its assessment. It scanned the trees, the grass, the birds, and then turned its attention to the humans. The device hummed as it processed the data. HFY-427 was puzzled. These humans were far more complex than initial reports had suggested. Their biology was intricate, their emotions intense and varied. The alien observed a young couple holding hands, their faces a mix of fear and curiosity. It noted the strong pair bond and the complex social structures humans seemed to form. Meanwhile, in Beijing's Forbidden City, another alien named Krell 908 was assessing human technology. It had expected to find primitive tools, perhaps simple machines at best. Instead, it discovered smartphones, electric vehicles, and advanced computer systems. The alien's surprise grew as it realized these technologies had been developed in just a few short centuries, a blink of an eye in galactic terms. In Moscow's Red Square, alien researcher VUM 635 focused on human history and culture. It scanned books, analyzed art, and observed human interactions. The sheer diversity of human cultures and the richness of their history astounded the alien. How could a species so young have created so much? As the assessments continued, the aliens began to realize something that sent ripples of concern through their ranks. These humans were not the simple, primitive species they had assumed. They were resourceful, adaptable, and incredibly diverse in their thinking. In Rio de Janeiro, an alien named RAF 201 made a startling discovery. It had been scanning human weapons, expecting to find simple projectile devices. Instead, it found nuclear arsenals, advanced missile systems, and even early-stage energy weapons. The alien's report back to the mothership was tinged with alarm. But it was in Cairo that the most significant discovery was made. Alien researcher EChem 756 had been tasked with assessing human scientific knowledge. As it scanned through databases and research papers, it found something unexpected: theoretical models for faster-than-light travel. The concepts were rudimentary and unproven, but they were there. Somehow, these humans had begun to grasp ideas that should have been far beyond their reach. As the day wore on, the alien researchers shared their findings. Each report added to a growing picture that was very different from what the Galactic Empire had expected. These humans were not just another species to be easily conquered. They were a young but rapidly advancing civilization with potential that was hard to predict. Back on the mothership, the alien leaders received the assessment reports with increasing concern. They had expected an easy conquest. Instead, they found themselves facing a species that, while currently outmatched, showed signs of becoming a significant galactic power if left unchecked. The leaders debated their next move. Some argued for immediate, overwhelming force to crush the humans before they could advance further. Others cautioned that such action might unite the humans against them, potentially leading to a costly and prolonged conflict. As night fell on Earth, the scout ships returned to the mothership. The humans, unaware of the aliens' findings, prepared for what they believed would be their last stand. But in secret labs and military bases around the world, humans were already working on ways to fight back. They had no idea that their own potential had just saved them from immediate destruction. The Galactic Empire now faced a difficult decision. Should they proceed with their conquest, knowing it might not be as easy as they thought? Or should they reassess their approach to this unexpectedly complex species? As the alien leaders deliberated, humanity held its breath, unaware that their very nature, their complexity, their potential, their unpredictability, had just become their greatest defense against the stars. As dawn broke on the third day of the alien presence, the Galactic Empire made its move. Small attack ships descended from the mothership, targeting key military installations around the globe. The message was clear: surrender or be destroyed. World leaders, united by the common threat, stood firm. In a joint broadcast, they declared, "Humanity will not bow to tyranny, on Earth or from the stars." With these words, the resistance officially began. The first battles were devastating for Earth. Alien weapons easily overwhelmed traditional defenses. In Washington, D.C., the Pentagon was reduced to rubble. In Beijing, the Great Wall crumbled under alien fire. It seemed hopeless. But humans, as they had done countless times throughout history, adapted. In a hidden bunker beneath the Alps, a team of international scientists worked tirelessly. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a brilliant physicist from Japan, had a breakthrough. "Look at this," she said, pointing to a screen filled with alien code. "Their shields operate on a frequency we can disrupt." Meanwhile, in the deserts of Nevada, a group of Air Force pilots were learning to fly retrofitted fighter jets. Captain Sarah Martinez climbed into her cockpit, now fitted with reverse-engineered alien tech. "It's like trying to fly a brick," she muttered, "but a brick that can dance." Across the world, similar scenes played out. Hackers in Silicon Valley worked to infiltrate alien communications. Engineers in Mumbai redesigned power grids to hide from alien scans. Farmers in Kenya used their knowledge of the land to hide resistance fighters. The Galactic Empire, expecting an easy victory, found itself facing 1,000 small defeats. Their ships, invincible against traditional weapons, fell to hacked guidance systems. Their communications, thought unbreakable, were flooded with human-made viruses. In orbit, the alien commander, Grand Executor Zorax, watched with growing frustration. "How are these primitives doing this?" he growled, his tentacles writhing in agitation. "Increase the attack frequency. Crush their will to resist." But each attack only seemed to strengthen human resolve. In the ruins of Paris, an old man named Jean picked up a piece of alien metal. "We survived worse," he said to his grandchildren. "We will survive this too." His words, recorded and shared, became a rallying cry. Underground, the resistance grew stronger. Dr. Tanaka's discovery led to the development of handheld shield disruptors. Captain Martinez and her squad, now expert pilots of hybrid human-alien craft, ran daring raids against enemy positions. In a bold move, a team of Russian and American special forces, once enemies, now allies, infiltrated an alien ground base. They captured vital technology, and more importantly, an alien officer. The intelligence gained from this mission turned the tide. Humanity learned of weaknesses in alien biology, of flaws in their strategic thinking. The Galactic Empire, used to easy conquests, had never faced a species that refused to give up, that treated every defeat as a lesson, every setback as motivation. 6 months into the war, Earth achieved its first major victory. A coordinated attack, combining hacked alien ships, human determination, and sheer cunning, destroyed a major alien command center. The loss sent shockwaves through the Empire's forces. On the mothership, Grand Executor Zorax faced a mutiny. "You said this would be easy," shouted his second-in-command. "You said these humans were primitive. Look at what they've done to us." As alien forces retreated to regroup, humans emerged from hiding. They began rebuilding, but differently now. New cities rose, blending Earth architecture with scavenged alien technology. Schools taught both human history and alien language. Children played with toys made from fallen enemy ships. In the new United Nations headquarters, built underground for protection, world leaders met. The old rivalries and conflicts seemed petty now. Faced with a galactic threat, they spoke of a united Earth, of a human civilization ready to claim its place among the stars. But they also prepared for the Empire's return. They knew this was just the beginning. Factories that once made cars now produced spaceships. Universities offered degrees in xenobiology and interstellar diplomacy. Humanity was changing, growing, evolving. As the first human-made starship prepared for its maiden voyage, Captain Martinez stood before a crowd of cheering people. "We didn't ask for this war," she said, her voice carried across the globe. "But we will finish it. And when we're done, the galaxy will know. Humanity is not to be underestimated." The crowd roared its approval. On screens around the world, humans watched as their ship rose into the sky, carrying with it the hopes and determination of an entire species. The Galactic Empire had wanted to conquer Earth. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant. Humanity was no longer just fighting for survival. They were fighting for their future among the stars. And they were just getting started. 1 year into the war, Earth had changed beyond recognition. The initial alien attacks had devastated major cities, but from the ashes, a new world was emerging. A world where human ingenuity and alien technology merged in ways no one could have imagined. In the rebuilt streets of Tokyo, holographic signs flickered alongside ancient temples. In the Amazon rainforest, tribes used alien energy shields to protect endangered species. Humanity had not just survived, it was thriving in the face of adversity. At the heart of this transformation was the Global Defense Initiative, GDI, a unified command structure that brought together the best minds from every nation. Their headquarters, deep within Mount Everest, buzzed with activity. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, now head of the Alien Tech Integration Division, stood before a group of international scientists. "Today," she said, her eyes gleaming with excitement, "we make history." She unveiled a device that looked like a small silver sphere. "This," she continued, "is our ticket to the stars." The sphere was a gravity manipulator, reverse-engineered from captured alien tech. It promised to revolutionize space travel, making interplanetary journeys a matter of days rather than months. Meanwhile, in the skies above North America, Captain Sarah Martinez led a squadron of Earth's new hybrid fighters. These sleek machines, born from the marriage of human and alien technology, moved with impossible grace. "All right, Earth Force," Martinez's voice crackled over the comm. "Let's show these alien bastards what we can do." The battle that followed was unlike anything seen before on Earth. Human pilots, their minds linked directly to their ships through neural interfaces, danced through the sky. They outmaneuvered alien craft with moves that defied traditional physics. On the ground, a different kind of battle was taking place. In laboratories and workshops around the world, humans were pushing the boundaries of science and technology. Every piece of alien tech captured was studied, understood, and improved upon. In a hidden facility beneath the Sahara, a team led by Dr. Kwame Osei had achieved the impossible. They had created a working prototype of a faster-than-light communication device. "Do you understand what this means?" Osei asked his team, his voice filled with awe. "We can coordinate with our ships in real time, no matter where they are in the solar system." The Galactic Empire, once confident in their superiority, found themselves constantly on the back foot. Every tactic they tried was countered. Every technology they deployed was quickly adapted to and overcome. Grand Executor Zorax, now fighting for his own survival within the Empire's hierarchy, couldn't understand it. "How?" he raged to his advisors. "How are they advancing so quickly? It's like they're evolving before our eyes." What Zorax and the Empire failed to grasp was the true power of the human spirit. Faced with extinction, humanity had cast aside its old rivalries and united in a way never seen before. Every culture, every discipline, Every individual contributed to the collective effort of survival and progress. In the war-torn streets of Rio de Janeiro, a young girl named Maria found a piece of alien technology in the rubble. Instead of selling it or turning it in, she took it apart, studied it, and used it to create a device that could purify contaminated water. Her invention soon spread across the globe, saving millions of lives. This scene repeated itself countless times across the planet. Humanity's creativity, unleashed by necessity and fueled by determination, led to advancements that would have taken centuries under normal circumstances. As Earth's first FTL-capable ship prepared for its maiden voyage, the mood on the planet was one of cautious optimism. Humanity had not only survived the initial onslaught, but had emerged stronger, more united, and more advanced than ever before. Captain Martinez, chosen to lead this historic mission, addressed the world from the launch pad. "A year ago, we thought this was the end," she said, her voice carried to every corner of the globe. "But we were wrong. This isn't the end. It's a new beginning. Today, we take our first steps into the galaxy, not as conquerors, not as victims, but as explorers. We go to extend a hand of peace. But make no mistake, we are ready for war." As the ship rose into the sky, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of an entire planet, a new chapter in human history began. The Galactic Empire had sought to subjugate Earth. Instead, they had unleashed a force they could never have anticipated: the full, unrestrained potential of humanity. The galaxy was about to learn that humans, when pushed to the brink, don't just survive. They evolve, adapt, and overcome. And nothing, not even the vastness of space, could stand in their way. 2 years had passed since the Galactic Empire first appeared in Earth's skies. The planet, once on the brink of defeat, now stood as a beacon of resistance in the galaxy. Humanity's first faster-than-light FTL ship, the HSS Hope, had returned from its maiden voyage with crucial intelligence about the Empire's worlds. In the rebuilt United Nations headquarters in Geneva, world leaders gathered to hear Captain Sarah Martinez's report. The room fell silent as she stepped up to the podium, her face etched with the weight of her discoveries. "Ladies and gentlemen," Martinez began, her voice steady, "we are not alone in our struggle. The Empire has subjugated hundreds of worlds, but everywhere we went, we found beings yearning for freedom. They looked to Earth as a symbol of hope." The assembled leaders murmured in surprise. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, seated in the front row, leaned forward. "Did you make contact with any of these civilizations?" she asked. Martinez nodded. "We did more than that. We've formed alliances. The Arcturians have agreed to share their cloaking technology. The Proxima Centaurians are ready to join us in open rebellion." The room erupted in excited chatter. For the first time, humanity realized they weren't just fighting for Earth, they were fighting for the freedom of the entire galaxy. Meanwhile, in orbit around Mars, Earth's new defense fleet conducted war games. Ships that blended human intuition with alien tech danced through the asteroid belt, their movements too quick and unpredictable for traditional targeting systems. On the bridge of the flagship, Admiral Chen watched with pride. "Send the data to Earth," he commanded. "It's time to take the fight to the Empire." Back on Earth, in a secret facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Kwame Osai put the finishing touches on humanity's most ambitious project yet. It was a massive cannon, capable of firing a concentrated burst of energy across vast distances of space. "We call it the Sol Hammer," Osai explained to the visiting dignitaries. "One shot from this, and we can take out an entire Imperial fleet." As these developments unfolded, the Galactic Empire was in turmoil. Grand Executor Zorax had been overthrown, replaced by the ruthless Empress Tarlith. She stood on the bridge of her super-dreadnought, glaring at the holographic display of Earth. "These humans have been allowed to develop for too long," she hissed. "Prepare the World Breaker. We will make an example of their planet." The World Breaker was the Empire's ultimate weapon, a massive ship capable of shattering planets. As it moved into position near Jupiter, sensors on Earth picked up its energy signature. Alarms blared in command centers across the globe. In the Mount Everest headquarters, the GDI's leaders convened an emergency meeting. "We can't let that thing near Earth," General Octavia Raman declared. "We need to strike first." The plan came together quickly. Earth would use its new technologies to launch a preemptive attack on the Worldbreaker. It was risky, but the alternative was unthinkable. As the human fleet prepared for battle, a message was broadcast across all frequencies, aimed directly at the Empire's forces. It was delivered by a chorus of voices representing every nation on Earth. "Attention, Galactic Empire. For 2 years, you have tried to crush us. You have failed. We gave you the chance to leave us in peace. You refused. Now, hear our warning. Cease your aggression immediately, or face consequences beyond your imagination. We are humanity. We will not bow, we will not break, and we will not stop until we are free." The warning was punctuated by a blinding flash of light. The Sol hammer fired, its energy beam tearing across the solar system. It struck the Worldbreaker with pinpoint accuracy, ripping through its shields as if they were paper. In her command chair, Empress Karlith watched in disbelief as alerts flashed across her screens. "Impossible," she whispered as the Worldbreaker, the pride of the Imperial fleet, began to break apart. The human fleet surged forward, led by Captain Martinez in the HSS Hope. Smaller, faster, and more agile than the Imperial ships, they weaved through enemy fire, landing devastating blows. As the battle raged, the eyes of Earth watched via real-time holographic projections. In cities, in villages, in underground bunkers, humans cheered as their forces stood toe-to-toe with the greatest power in the galaxy. The Empire's fleet, caught off guard by the ferocity of Earth's attack, began to retreat. For the first time in its long history, the Galactic Empire had been dealt a decisive defeat. As the last Imperial ship fled the solar system, a new era dawned. Humanity had not just defended itself. It had struck a blow for freedom that would resonate across the stars. On Earth, celebrations erupted. But in command centers and laboratories, work continued. The war wasn't over. It had only just begun. And humanity was ready to take the fight to the stars. The destruction of the Worldbreaker sent shockwaves through the Galactic Empire. For the first time in millennia, the Empire faced a force it couldn't easily crush. In her palace on the imperial capital world of Zarkon, Empress Karlith paced nervously. How? She demanded of her advisors. How did these humans defeat our greatest weapon? The answer came from an unexpected source. A young alien scientist named Krell stepped forward. "Your Highness," he said, his voice trembling. "I studied the humans. Their strength isn't in their weapons. It's in their adaptability, their creativity. They don't think like us." Meanwhile, on Earth, the Global Defense Initiative was preparing for the Empire's retaliation. But instead of another attack, they received a surprising message. The Empire wanted to negotiate. In the rebuilt United Nations Hall in New York, world leaders debated this unexpected turn of events. "It could be a trap," warned General Octavia Raman. "We should strike while we have the advantage." But others saw an opportunity. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, her eyes bright with possibility, spoke up. "Or this could be our chance to end the war and secure Earth's place in the galaxy." After hours of debate, a decision was reached. Earth would agree to negotiations, but on their terms. The meeting would take place on neutral ground, a space station orbiting Jupiter's moon Europa. As Earth prepared its delegation, activity on the planet reached a fever pitch. In labs around the world, scientists worked to perfect new technologies that could give humanity an edge in the negotiations. Engineers in orbit rushed to complete the Europa station, a marvel of human ingenuity and alien tech. Captain Sarah Martinez, now Admiral Martinez, was chosen to lead the Earth delegation. As she boarded the HSS Hope for the journey to Europa, she carried the hopes of humanity with her. The day of the negotiations arrived. The Europa station hung in space, a shining symbol of human achievement. As the Imperial shuttle docked, tension filled the air. Empress Karlith stepped into the negotiation room, her regal bearing at odds with the nervousness in her eyes. She found herself face to face with Admiral Martinez, whose steady gaze never wavered. "Welcome to human space," Martine said, her voice cool and confident. "We're glad you finally decided to talk instead of fight." The negotiations began, and immediately it became clear that this was unlike anything the Empire had ever experienced. The humans didn't grovel or beg. They made demands. "We want recognition as a sovereign species," Martine stated, "and we want the Empire to withdraw from all unwilling worlds." Zarlith's advisors gasped at the audacity, but the Empress, seeing the determination in the humans' eyes, knew she couldn't dismiss them. As the talks progressed, both sides presented their cases. The Empire spoke of its long history, its vast knowledge. The humans countered with stories of their rapid advancement, their alliances with other species. During a break in the negotiations, Krell, the young alien scientist, approached Dr. Tanaka. "Your species fascinates me," he admitted. "In just a few years, you've achieved what took us centuries." Tanaka smiled. "That's the human spirit," she replied. "When our backs are against the wall, we don't give up. We innovate." As the negotiations entered their final day, a compromise began to take shape. The Empire would recognize Earth and its allies as sovereign. In return, humanity would share some of its innovations. But there was a sticking point. The Empire insisted on maintaining a presence in Earth's solar system. Martinez's response was firm. "No alien military forces in our home system. That's non-negotiable." The impasse seemed insurmountable. But then, in a move that surprised everyone, Empress Karlith made an unexpected proposal. "What if," she said, her voice hesitant, "what if we formed an alliance? Not as conqueror and subject, but as equals." The human delegation was stunned. This was more than they had ever hoped for. After a brief discussion, Martinez turned back to the Empress. "We're listening," she said. As the final terms were hammered out, a new galactic order began to take shape. Earth would join the galactic community, not as a conquered world, but as a major power in its own right. The human spirit of innovation and adaptation would be allowed to flourish among the stars. When Admiral Martinez returned to Earth, she was greeted as a hero. In a speech broadcast around the world, she announced the terms of the agreement. "Today," she said, her voice filled with pride, "humanity takes its place among the stars. We went from fighting for our survival to reshaping the galaxy. Remember this day, for it marks the beginning of a new era, for Earth and for the entire galaxy." As cheers erupted around the world, humans looked to the stars with new eyes. No longer were they a threat. Now, they were a frontier, filled with possibilities. The human adventure was just beginning. 5 years had passed since the historic negotiations on Europa. Earth, once a backwater planet unknown to the wider galaxy, had become a central player in galactic affairs. The solar system buzzed with activity as ships from 100 worlds came to trade, learn, and marvel at humanity's rapid progress. On Mars, a sprawling city dome gleamed under the rusty sky. Inside, humans worked alongside aliens from across the galaxy. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, now head of the Interstellar Science Academy, led a team of researchers from 12 different species. The fusion of Arcturian crystal tech with Earth's quantum computing is revolutionary, she explained to a group of wide-eyed students. It's opening up possibilities we never dreamed of. Meanwhile, on a space station orbiting Venus, Admiral Sarah Martinez stood before a holographic display of the Milky Way. Dozens of points of light indicated human colonies and outposts, spreading rapidly across the galactic arm. "Our latest expedition has made contact with the Andromeda Galaxy," she reported to the Earth Council. "We're no longer just a part of galactic affairs. We're leading them." Back on Earth, the planet had transformed. Cities reached into the skies, their spires a blend of human aesthetics and alien engineering. In the streets, humans rubbed shoulders with visitors from across the cosmos. The air buzzed with translator devices, allowing for seamless communication between species. In Central Park, New York, a statue stood as a reminder of how far humanity had come. It depicted the moment when humans first stood up to the Galactic Empire. At its base, a plaque read, "Never underestimate the human spirit." But not all was perfect in this new era. On the fringes of human space, tensions were brewing. Pirates and rogue factions, seeing humanity's rapid expansion as a threat, launched raids on outlying colonies. In response, Earth had formed the Terran Defense Force, a military organization tasked with protecting human interests across the stars. Young men and women from around the world volunteered, eager to explore the galaxy and defend their species' new place in it. On a distant world named New Eden, one such volunteer named Jack Chen stood guard. As he watched the alien sunset, a distress call came through his comlink. Unidentified ships approaching the colony. All personnel to battle stations. The ensuing battle was fierce but short. The Terran ships, combining human intuition with advanced alien tech, easily outmaneuvered the attackers. As the last enemy ship fled, Jack couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. Humanity, once nearly conquered, was now a force to be reckoned with. Meanwhile, in the halls of galactic power, Earth's influence continued to grow. The old Galactic Empire, now reformed into a more democratic Galactic Federation, found itself increasingly relying on human innovation and diplomacy to solve crises. Empress Tarlith, now serving as the Federation's chief diplomat, marveled at the change. "In all my years," she confided to her human counterpart, "I've never seen a species adapt and grow as quickly as yours. You humans are remarkable." But with great power came great responsibility. As humanity's influence spread, so did debates about how to use it. Should Earth focus on exploration and scientific advancement, or was it their duty to liberate other oppressed worlds, as they themselves had once been threatened? These questions came to a head when a distress signal was received from a distant sector of the galaxy. A peaceful race called the Zorans was facing extinction at the hands of a ruthless machine civilization. In the United Nations Hall in Geneva, now expanded to include representatives from human colonies across the stars, the debate raged. Some argued for caution, warning against getting involved in conflicts far from home. Others insisted it was their moral duty to help. In the end, it was a speech by an elderly scientist that swayed the vote. Dr. Kwame Osei, one of the heroes of the original resistance against the Empire, took the podium. "My friends," he said, his voice strong despite his years, "we were once the Zorans, facing annihilation with no hope in sight. But we survived, we thrived, and we changed the galaxy. Now we have the power to ensure no other species faces what we faced alone. This is not just our opportunity, it is our responsibility." The vote was unanimous. Earth would come to the aid of the Zorans, leading a coalition of free worlds against the machine threat. As the human fleet prepared to embark on its greatest mission yet, a palpable sense of destiny filled the air. Humanity had come full circle, from nearly conquered to conquering heroes, from isolation to the heart of galactic affairs. On the bridge of the flagship HSS Unity, Admiral Martinez looked out at the assembled fleet. Ships of human design flew alongside craft from a dozen allied worlds. At her command, the fleet engaged their FTL drives, disappearing in a flash of light. The next chapter of human history was about to be written among the stars, and the galaxy would never be the same again.